Yeah, I want to be honest. This one kept me up for a few days. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think he's all that. I don't think he's what we've been led to believe he is. And I know North Carolina fans are a passionate group. We did a Drake Maye video before, and they commented all over it and let us know how wrong we were. And I know they're going to comment on this one again and let us know how wrong we are again. But we'll explain ourselves. So please bear with us. I do believe in this draft, he's a solid quarterback. He's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a blue chip quarterback. I think he's a guy that needs to go to a specific situation to be successful. If he went to the Bears, he's fucked. If he goes to the Patriots, he's fucked. He needs to go to a team that has a good offensive coordinator and decent weapons. If he doesn't have that, he's going to struggle. He's going to look bad. Just so you guys know, I watched his game against Duke. I watched his game against Clemson. And I watched his game against North Carolina State. I try to watch the end of the year games. I wanted to see the finished product. I wanted to see more of like what he was. I know you guys can't see my notes, but I have timestamps for everything. B seen him. He thought it was crazy with the shit I was doing. I was up till 1 a.m. I have everything marked down. So let's do the Oreo cookie sandwich here. Let's do the the compliment sandwich. We're gonna go with good thing. We're gonna say the bad thing. Then we're gonna go with the good thing. Starting off, he has a strong arm, fantastic arm. He can make every throw in the NFL playbook anywhere you want. He can hit you in the fade. He's got the cross route, basic dig routes. He's whatever you need him to throw. He's got it. He's obviously tall. He's strong. He does a great job. He's a fantastic runner. Good athletes. He's 6'4", I believe 6'4", 235 was what we saw.
Something like that. 225, 235, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Big boy. His family lineage has all been athletes. I believe his brothers play basketball and baseball or something like that as well. So he comes from a great athletic family. So let's get to the bad. The bad is I'm not sure he can read a defense. Again, I really had to go check other draft profiles because like, am I seeing this or is it just me? Am I crazy? Do I not know what the fuck I'm talking about? Maybe I don't. But I started off with the Duke game because I was like, let me watch a game of his where he's successful. He had good numbers. They won the game, and I got to the second quarter with about we talked about before 5 minutes left, 1st and 10, back to his own end zone. It was on the 1 yard line, and I wanted to give him this credit. The offense coordinator did him no favors, right? When you're backed up on your own end zone, you want a get space play. You want a handoff. You want a quarterback sneak, a screen, something to just get you like 3 to 4 yards, get you a little bit of breathing room, somewhere you can run something else. 1st and 10, and they're going with fucking like almost like 3 verts. It was a 2x1. You had a guy running a crossing route, a deep crossing route. Another guy, the right X, had a 10-yard out. And the left X, the Z, had a basic. I mean, it's not ideal for backed up in your own end zone. You're not really giving yourself a whole lot of options. There's no there's nothing if you're getting blitzed. It looked like Duke ran man coverage. There was just no one available. He tossed it up. Again, I don't know what the decision was to just fucking toss it up. Picked. I mean, no receiver in the area. Again, you saw it was a backer and a safety that were just fielding like a punt. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't just throw it out of bounds. I don't know why he didn't run it. 1st and 10, you can't have it. And that was the first moment I was like, does he not know what the fuck is going on out there? Can he does he not know? Going a little bit further into that game, because he mostly had a good game. He had a really nice, a slot fade that I really liked. Great throw on a touchdown pass. He had 1:55 to go. It was a slot seam from his tight end, number 18, Bryson Nesbitt, who is a fantastic player. Every game I watched, the dude flashed. He's a great receiver. I don't know how he is as a blocker. As a receiver, he is fantastic. But he put a ball in a spot where only his guy could get it, and Nesbitt just out-athletes the smaller nickel. So he makes fantastic throws like that, like I talked at the beginning of the sugar part of this sandwich here. He throws with decent anticipation sometimes.
His deep balls are crazy. Sorry, I was going to make a quick note here too, just to give a little bit of like an ad lib. I have in my notes, I'm more of like a meatball guy. I didn't play quarterback. Like barely played offense. I watched a little bit of film too. One thing that shot out to me about Drake Maye, just keeping it on with the inside goodness of this like Oreo cookie here, his deep ball placement is awesome. Like I put in my notes that the deep post might be his favorite route to like throw, because every deep post I saw was just money. Like it just bang right there. Slot fades, outside fades. It did not matter. His deep ball was crazy. Okay, so going back to normal scheduled programming here.
You're good, and I appreciate you hopping in. I like adding more context to it. Just sticking to the Duke game, there was a fake screen in the fourth quarter. They've been running screens all game. Pump, look, go. And again, this is another issue I just kind of had. He just holds the ball too long. Again, I was watching it, and I have it in slow motion, so I'm probably yelling at the screen a lot longer than it's actually playing out in real time. But the nickel corner immediately bit on the fake screen. So for those that don't know what I'm talking about, you have usually a trips 3x1. You have two receivers and a guy who's going to step, make it look like he's getting the ball. Two other receivers will go up like, hey, we're blocking, branch off. The first guy ran like a basic in route. Second guy was just almost like a wheel, kind of flashed and went. The minute he flashed, that nickel corner took off towards the fake screen. And the receiver was just open. Like no one was around him. There's a safety over top still, but and I was watching. He just held on. My note specifically, he pumps and holds the ball just a tick too long. He threw it eventually. Ball almost got picked off, but receiver was able to come down with it. But it was like, I'm telling you, the guys came down fighting for the ball. Like that's how close it was when the dude was wide open to start. Again, I even I wasn't sure why he was holding on to it so long. I don't know what he was looking at. The corner, like it wasn't like a subtle, like, oh, maybe he was still in like full speed down. It's just like, it's almost like half the plays. It's like there's some good with some bad. In the first overtime, he had a decent, he threw with decent anticipation. There was a whip route. Again, nickel corner was caught flat-footed. The receiver broke out, and he just threw it just a little bit too far in front of him. Again, I know I'm nitpicking right there. It's a nitpick. It was just a smidge too far. If I was doing like a draft profile on the receiver, I would say, hey, man, you got to come down with that. But at the same time, it's like, it's a 5-yard throw. Like that's for winning the game. And thankfully they were able to still win the game in second overtime. But because that ball was too far in front of him, they had to kick a field goal instead of just winning it outright when they held Duke to, pretty much Duke had the ball first in overtime. They had no play. They kicked the field goal at 25 yards out, and you have a chance to win it from the one. You need to complete that. And it wasn't just a one-time thing. Again, against Clemson, we watched the same thing I showed B in the pre-show. First play, there's a crosser, man coverage. The linebacker is a sole linebacker in the middle of the field, single high man coverage. The linebacker steps up to be a quarterback spy. And quickly, Drake Maye does a great job. He looks to his right to the single receiver side, identifies he's not winning the route, immediately comes back to his crosser, and he's just holding it. He's holding it. And again, this time, thankfully, it didn't have a consequence. He was able to get the ball out eventually. Receiver caught it, took up sideline for a big game. But I don't know why he's holding on to the ball so long. He does have a long windup. Like it's not, I'm trying to think of an example. He's not a Kyler Murray kind of throw or a Jimmy Garoppolo throw. He definitely brings the ball down to all the way up to then getting it through. That's correctable. I'm not going to hold that against him right now. You can fix that with some off-season work. Let's see. He does a good job of identifying the single high man against Clemson, hit Walker down the sideline for a huge game, perfectly placed ball. It looked like he ran down and handed the ball off to himself. He had in this game against Clemson, he had great pocket presence. Clemson brought up blitz off the left edge. I think it was a corner blitz. Maye was rolled to his right just a little bit, kind of shuffle step, just buy himself a little bit more time, threw it off his back foot and hit a deep crosser for a touchdown. Again, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the positive. He makes special plays like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're talking about NFL. If you're talking about that won't always work out, he had a hot tight end who came. So the blitzer came, tight end engaged, came off. And it's like, why didn't you hit your hot? I mean, again, I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad you're able to throw out the back foot and hit a touchdown here. But in the NFL, that doesn't always work out. Why not even look at your hot? Why are you trying to? So it's kind of the duality of scouting. B, do you want to chime in anything here before?
Yeah, no, you kind of hit on the notes that I have here too. Like, I think you said it well when you said, there's a lot of plays where you go, damn, that was a great play. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have some plays like, damn, that was awful. What was that? I have in my notes here, like when he misses, like it's not often that he doesn't have good ball placement, but when he misses bad. Like I think we already talked
Mm-hmm.
about that. And I watched the Minnesota game, and for those who want to watch some film too, pull that game up on YouTube as well. That's a game where he played well in. If you look at the box score, he did have two picks, but he was 29 for 40 for 414 and 2 touchdowns. And you will see in that game he flashed a lot. I think if I remember correctly, the Minnesota defense played a lot of cover 1 and this cover 2 and this man, and he was dicing them up. And he had a lot of great throws. I was really impressed with the small stuff he does, like especially when he gets outside of the pocket and he runs and he throws
Mm-hmm.
on the run. He puts damn near a perfect ball on the sideline for the receiver almost every time. Like I was always impressed with that. And then again, like I have here the Clemson game. If you all want to watch that on your end, that's a game where he kind of struggled a little bit, which it may make sense. Even though the Clemson team wasn't as strong this year, they still had a pretty solid front four. They had a pretty solid defense, and they got after him. They used the QB spy on him, and at times when that QB spy kind of smelled blood in the water, he shot and he got Drake Maye a couple of
Mm-hmm.
times. And you kind of saw him deal with pressure, and there were a lot of arid flow throws in that game. A lot of times, like, damn, what was that, Drake Maye? So yeah, I have all the same notes you have, man. The good with the bad, great pocket awareness. He looked poised at times. He wasn't getting pressure in his face. And again, like maybe I don't watch a whole lot of Tar Heel games, so if you're a Tar Heel fan, tell us like maybe the O line was just a little bit shaky this season, right? I
Mm-hmm.
do know that he lost his 2 top receivers from 2022 going into 2023, so maybe that kind of hindered his stats a little bit in this overall offense, right? So there's always a lot of context to this stuff, and watching quarterback play, especially in college, is so tough, in my own opinion, because you don't know what they're being taught to, right? Like, what if
Mm-hmm.
they only have a half field read versus a full field read? So it looks like he's not really reading the defense because he's reading his 2 route concept on the right side, and he just taught, hey, if none of those options are open, I guess just take it and run or just check it down or something. So this is throwing that out there for you all. We're not saying he's going
Yeah.
to be trash. We're not trying to make your own opinion for you.
No. No. No.
We
No.
gave you
No.
some
No. No.
options to
Yeah.
watch, but that's kind of the good and the bad. And I think we did a good job of looking at all sides here.
Yeah. And I just wanted to put in a nice, easy little bow. As a review my notes, it's like one plays great, one plays bad, one plays great, one plays bad. So that's why I say he needs to go to a right situation. He needs to go to, like for an example, he needs to go to. Oh my gosh, off the top of my head, I can't think of it right now. Like a Packers
Before you
situation.
give a name, I have 2 questions for you.
Okay, go on.
What question 1? What do you think his NFL comp is right now?
Mm-hmm.
And question 2, just because the way the NFL works, we talked about he might not be a blue chip guy, but he's
Mm-hmm.
going to go top 3. That's the way the
Yeah,
NFL draft works. Everyone needs a
absolutely.
quarterback every single season. He's going to go top 3. So let's just say, for example, that wasn't the way the NFL works, and he was drafted as based off his talent alone compared to other players, which might be a hard question because we haven't watched the rest of this draft class yet. But
Mm-hmm.
ideally, where do you think he would fall pick wise if he wasn't top 3 and this wasn't the way the NFL worked?
Just in a generic number like prospect ranking, I would probably have him around 15. I do think
Okay,
there's a
that's
lot
fair.
of I think there's a lot of special there. I just think he needs to go to a certain situation to reach his potential. Like a CJ Stroud, right? Like CJ Stroud, if he had gone to the Carolina, would not be the same CJ Stroud we're seeing now. Same thing with Drake Maye. He needs a guy on offense who's going to be able to coach him, to be able to make him consistent. I mean, for Christ's sake, I don't think I saw any motion from NC at all. Like that's such a subtle thing that helps quarterbacks identify coverage so quickly in between man or zone, and I don't think I saw any of it at all. Like we kind of talked about with the goal line where you're backed up on your own one. You got your play call is 3 verts or whatever it was. It was a crosser, an out route, and a basic. It's like that's not helping your quarterback out. You call a quarterback power in that situation. So that's why I'd say 15. He needs to go to a situation where he's got talent around him. He's got an offensive head coach who's going to be a good offensive coach. So let me throw this out there. Ideal position. This would be, I would love it if he went here. He's going to have the reach his potential. The Giants. If he goes to the New York Giants under Brian Daboll, he will be successful. Absolutely. That's a great offensive guy. That's a guy that knows what he's doing. He knows how to coach up a dude with big arm, a dude that can run, a dude who may be struggling to see the field. He can help him by doing the little things of like, hey, shifting your formation, coming in a condensed formation in certain spots to try to like show what the defense is doing. That's a guy that's going to help him out, which is kind of also ironic because my comp for him is Josh Allen. I know a lot of people say Justin Herbert, he's tall, white, wears 10, blah, 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 blah. I don't see it I don't think he's as quick of a processor as Justin Herbert is. I also think he's a way better runner than Justin Herbert is. I would say he has a strong arm. I don't think it's as strong as Herbert or Josh Allen's is. I saw him throw some great deep balls, but I also saw him underthrow a couple balls. But sporadic accuracy, not always able to see the field, able to be right when you're wrong with his legs, big, strong guy. That all sounds to me a lot more like Josh Allen. So if the Giants can get their hands on this guy, if they can, I don't think I got to trade up to 2, trade up to 1, whatever they got to do. I think that's the prime spot for him to go to the Giants. Working under Brian Daboll would be fantastic. I think that would revitalize that entire franchise, give him a chance to move off of Daniel Jones. And I think that's the kind of situation that would really maximize his talent. First round pick on Drake Maye, get a couple of receivers with your second, third, fourth round pick. There's a plenty of receivers in this draft for you to be able to pull from. So that's where I would leave it at. I think the positives with him is, again, big, strong, fast runner. He does some special things. I think he's okay at reading the field. I don't think he's like horrible. There's times, like I said, he's got great pocket awareness where he's able to just maneuver the pocket to buy himself a little bit more time. And then there's other times where I don't think he's seen the field at all. He kind of gets stuck on one guy, doesn't like it, and just takes off. So that's my comp. That's my pick. That's what I think. Positives, weaknesses. But you guys tell us what you think. What do you think Drake Maye's weaknesses are? What are his strengths? Did he play behind a bad O-line? Tell us in the comments section. Give us a like and subscribe. We do this every week. We're going to have a lot more draft player profiles coming out as we get closer to draft time. But if this is where we're losing you guys, it's always a pleasure. My name is Emmett Swarat. This is Brendyn Ford. We host this fun podcast of ours. And until next time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
For those